Hello, everyone. Today we're going to read the classic, the original. Lucky's already getting the fuck out of my room because he doesn't want any part of this. Free yourself, my dog. Leave, please. We're going to read Jeff the Killer, which is a classic of the internet. Hello, everybody popping into the stream. I'm not going to lie. I've spent many years on the internet and I have never actually read this. Maybe I have. Maybe I have, I just don't remember. I stopped reading smut for this, Tony. Well, I hope this is as good as your smut. Alright, let's see here. Excerpt from a local newspaper. Ominous, unknown killer is still at large. After weeks of unexplained murders, the ominous, unknown killer is still on the rise. After little evidence has been found, a young boy states that he survived one of the killer's attacks and bravely tells his story. I'm calling the police. Is that a weed? Is that a weed? I'm calling the police. I had a bad dream, and I woke up in the middle of the night, says the boy. I saw that for some reason the window was open, even though I remember it being closed before I went to bed. I got up and shut it once more. Afterwards, I simply crawled under my covers and tried to get back to sleep. That's when I had a strange feeling, like someone was watching me. I looked up and nearly jumped out of my bed. There, in the little ray of light illuminating from between my curtains, were a pair of eyes. These weren't regular eyes. They were dark, ominous eyes. I love that this is a young boy. Like, this is him recalling the tale. A young boy doesn't talk like this. Boys don't talk like this. Go to sleep. Bro, it's only 11 p.m. My bedtime is 9. I'm staying up late for this one. They were bordered in black and just plain out terrified me. How old is this boy? That I want to know. That's when I saw his mouth, a long, horrendous smile that made every hair on my body stand up. The figure stood there, watching me. Finally, after what seemed like forever, he said it, a simple phrase, but said it in a way only a madman could. He said, Go to sleep. I let out a scream. That's what sent him at me. He pulled up a knife, aiming at my heart. He jumped on top of my bed. I fought him back. I kicked, I punched, I rolled around, trying to knock him off me. Oh, God, I'm dying. This is killing me. That's when my dad busted in. Good thing he got his shotty. The man threw the knife. It went into my dad's shoulder. The man probably would have finished him off if one of the neighbors hadn't alerted the police. Do you live in like a condo or... I don't know. They drove into the parking lot and ran towards the door. The man turned and ran down the hallway. I heard a smash, like glass breaking. As I came out of my room, I saw the window that was pointing towards the back of my house was broken. I looked out it to see him vanish into the distance. I can tell you one thing. I'll never forget that face, those cold, evil eyes, and that psychotic smile. They will never leave my head. Pretty spooky. Pretty big words for a little kid. It's almost like it's not. I know, right? Man, but Jeff is 13. Is he? Okay, well, I mean, we haven't gotten to the part of the story where they tell us how old Jeff is, but the kid is calling him a man. But, I mean, you know how kids are. They call anybody who's, like, older than them a man, you know? You know, they don't really know. Speaking of which, I went to my sister's recital today. I know, real spooky, really keeping with the spooky theme. Everybody looks like a baby. Everybody who isn't my age or older looks like a baby to me, and it's so weird. And I wonder if that'll just keep happening. Like, I'll be 90 years old and I'll look at like 80-year-olds and I'll be like, look at those babies walking around. How are they old enough to do anything? You know? I'm glad so many of you people are popping into the chat today. It's really nice to see all you guys popping in. It's good. Feels good. Feels good to be streaming again. Makes me feel like a happy guy. They drove... no, there we go. Police are still on the lookout for this man. If you see anyone that fits the description in this story, please contact your local police department. Jeff and his family had just moved into a new neighborhood. This is like a new thing, right? Like, this is the new section of the story. Why is there no there's no indentation or indication that this is a new section? It just kind of goes. Jeff and his family had just moved into a new neighborhood. His dad had gotten a promotion at work, and they thought it would be best to live in one of those fancy neighborhoods. Jeff and his brother Lou couldn't complain, though. A new, better house. What was not to love? As they were getting unpacked, one of their neighbors came by. See, that's how you know this story is bullshit. Because kids don't act this way. When a kid moves out of their house, it is the worst fucking thing in the world. Kids don't like moving, even if it's to a better house. They don't look at it and they're like, oh, this house is better, unless they literally live in a fucking swamp. And even then, if they're Shrek, they'll probably be upset that they're leaving a swamp and not going to a better swamp. Hello, she said. I'm Barbara. Oh, that's my aunt. That's my aunt's name. It's my Aunt Barbara. I live across the street from you. Well, I just wanted to introduce myself and to introduce my son. She turns around and calls her son over. Billy, these are our new neighbors. Billy Everyteen said hi and ran back to play in his yard. Well, said Jeff's mom, I'm Margaret, and this is my husband Peter, and my two sons, Jeff and Lou. They each introduced themselves, and then Barbara invited them to her son's birthday. Is that right now? Are we going to a birthday party right now, or is that in like 3 days? Jeff and his brother were about to object when their mother said that they would love to. When Jeff and his family are done packing, Jeff went up to his mom.
Mom, why would you invite us to some kid's party? If you haven't noticed, I'm not some dumb kid.
Jeff, said his mother, we just moved here, for fuck's sake. We should show that we want to spend time with our neighbors. Now we're going to that fucking party, and that's final. Jeff started to talk, but stopped himself, knowing that he couldn't do anything. Whenever his mom said something, it was final. This isn't as spooky anymore. He walked up to his room and plopped down on his bed. He sat there looking at his ceiling when suddenly he got a weird feeling. Not so much a pain, but a weird feeling. He dismissed it as just some random feeling. He heard his mother calling him down to get his stuff, and he walked down to get it. The next day, Jeff walked downstairs to get breakfast and got ready for school. As he sat there, eating his breakfast, he once again got that feeling. This time it was stronger, gave him a slight tugging pain, but he once again dismissed it. As he and Lou finished breakfast, they walked down to the bus stop. They sat there waiting for the bus, and then, all of a sudden, some kid on a skateboard jumped over them, only inches above their laps. They both jumped back in surprise. Hey, what the hell? Oh my god, the most radical kid in the neighborhood just did a fucking kickflip over you. You should be honored. I'd be honored to have a kid kickflip over me. Is this like an origin story? I mean, it's kind of an origin story, I guess. This plot is so rich I might hurl. It's so thick in my mouth, you know? It's like, it's like an extra thick smoothie from McDonald's. By the way, don't ever get a fucking smoothie from McDonald's because I don't clean the machines regularly, and then the fruit in the smoothie ferments in the machine, and it's just like mold growing in. It's disgusting. Do not. If you ever taken a sip, you ever take a sip of a McDonald's smoothie, and you ever think to yourself, this tastes a little bit like gasoline. That's the mold, my friend. That's the McDonald mold that you. If you're gonna get McNaldo's, just get the crispy chicken burger. It's fine. Just get a crispy chicken burger. Don't get the shitty one. There's like 4 fucking crispy chickens on the goddamn McDonald's menu. There's like the cheapo one that's shit. Then there's the one in the middle that's like buttermilk tender burger, and that's got a fucking sauce that's delicious. And then there's the fucking like $8 super chicken burger, and that is too much money for a McDonald's burger. Just get the one in the middle. All right. I get the nuggets are cool too. I mean, I'm talking just the burgers. I'm just talking the burgers right now. Don't get a fucking smoothie. If anyone knows his McNaldo's, it's me. I've been on many McNaldo adventures. Back in middle school, I thought Jeff was cool. B-Roy, what are you doing? You know? I love how you said buttermilk chicken burger like a fat guy. This is how I say everything. The kid landed and turned back to them. He kicked his skateboard up and caught it with his hands. The kid seemed to be about 12, 1 year younger than Jeff. Oh, you're right, he is 13. He wears an Aeropostale shirt and ripped blue jeans. Oh, that's just lovely. Well. Looks like we got some new meat. Suddenly, 2 other kids appeared. One was super skinny. Hey, that's me. And the other was huge. Wow, that's me and Dane. Hanging out with the coolest kid in school. That's fucking amazing. Well, since you're new here, I'd like to introduce ourselves. Over there's Keith. Jeff and Lou looked over at the skinny kid. He had a dopey face that you would expect a sidekick to have. And he's Troy. They looked over at the fat kid. Talk about a tub of lard. Oh, that's rude. This kid looked like he hadn't exercised since he was crawling. And I, said the first kid, am Randy. Now, for all the kids in this neighborhood, there's a small price for bus fare, if you catch my drift. Lou stood up, ready to punch the lights out of this kid's eyes, when one of his friends pulled a knife on him. I'd hope you'd be more cooperative, but it seems we just gotta do this the hard way. The kid walked up to Lou and took his wallet out of his pocket. Jeff got that feeling again. Now it was truly strong, a burning sensation in his loins. He stood up, but Lou gestured him to sit down. Jeff ignored him and walked up to the kid.
Listen here.
Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong one. Listen here, little punk. Give back... Oh, wait, that is... It just says Randy right... I got confused.
Listen here, you little punk. Give back my bro's wallet, or else.
Randy put the wallet in his pocket and pulled out his own knife. Oh? And what are you going to do? Just as he finished the sentence, Jeff popped the kid in the nose. As Randy reached for his face, Jeff grabbed the kid's wrist and broke it. Randy screamed, and Jeff grabbed the knife from his hand. Troy and Keith rushed to Jeff, but Jeff was too quick. You know, he's a quick boy. He threw Randy to the ground. Keith lashed out at them, but Jeff ducked and stabbed him in the arm. Oh my God! Keith grabbed his knife and fell to the ground, screaming. Troy rushed him too, but Jeff didn't even need the knife. He just punched Troy straight in the stomach, and Troy went down. Oh, that's sad. As he fell, he puked all over. Oh, Lou could do nothing but look in amazement at Jeff. Wow. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of... Why are we reading this dusty old pasta? Let me tell you, pasta doesn't go back for a long time. You know, it was a long time. This is the early version of Tales Gets Trolled. It kind of reads like it. What kind of 13-year-old kid just stabs a 12-year-old? Because he just straight up stabbed a 12... He didn't even need the knife. You know, it could have been worse. He could have stabbed Troy in the stomach, and that would have made him extra sad. Jeff, how'd you... That was all he said. They saw the bus coming and knew they'd be blamed for the whole thing, so they started running as fast as they could. As they ran, they looked back and saw the bus driver rushing over to Randy and the others. Also, how the fuck did he break Randy's wrist? Like, he'd have to have, like, I don't know, fucking, like, stepped on it or something? Because it gives the implication that he just did it with his hand. Unless I just had a brain fart and didn't read that he kicked it. I don't think he did that. So it really doesn't make it doesn't make any sense. Hello, everybody. There's tons of people popping in. Oh my God. Stabbing bullies prank.
Alright guys, welcome to my prank channel. I'm just gonna fucking
Stab my best friend in the fucking throat.
and then we're gonna run away, and it's gonna be fucking good prank, guys.
Speaking of pranks. Speaking of pranks right now, you know, here's the deal. I don't like to talk about other YouTubers on my channel. You know, because I don't want to cause drama. I don't want to give my opinions on other YouTubers because I don't think it's necessary. But let's just take a look here at something magical. This is Troom. This is Troom. Please do not instant play your fucking intro video. It's gonna. I don't like when people instant play this is Troom. Which is it's a DIY prank channel ? Because they don't really do DIYs or pranks. They just do weird shit. And it's got fucking 6 million subscribers. Which, in case you're wondering, that's a lot of fucking money each month from the views they get on their fucking DIY. It's insane. It's insane. I was just reminded of this because of the fucking, like, prank shit. This channel's weird. Because these people are, like, vaguely European. I don't know where they're from, but they're vaguely European. So, like, all these videos have really weird English in it, you know? Like, instead of saying, let's take a look at this, they'll say things like, let's scrutinize this burrito. And it's just really fucking weird. I've watched so many of these. which I regret, but I don't. Corrupted prank channel when, I hope. But this fucking one here, get this. It's a DIY phone case video / prank. And there's a part where these two girls are walking in a park, right? It's like they're walking in a park and one girl's thirsty and she's like, damn, I wish I had some strawberries to eat or something. So this other girl pulls out her fucking phone, it's in the thumbnail, and she made this fucking strawberry plastic sack, like fucking plastic bag, and just filled it with jam and then glued it to her phone. And then and then she just pulls out the phone and sticks a straw in the bag and she gives it to her friend and she's like, just slurp this fucking jam. And and that's their strawberry prank / edible DIY phone case. And it's I can't handle just how fucking stupid all this shit is. But hey, like Golden Cummy said, they're doing harmless pranks, you know. It's never like, I'm gonna stab my friend in the face, you know. It's never like sexual harassment pranks, you know. It's never shit like that. It's just really weird English with like things that aren't pranks, or like it's such a it's such a hyper specific prank, says Loving Fool. You're so fucking right. That's all of this shit makes no fucking sense. At one point, okay, there's this one, DIY versus giant candy versus miniature candy. In this one, they do a cool thing where they make like a giant Oreo, right? They do a big Oreo by just like crushing a bunch of Oreos and like, you know, melding them together. But then they do a mini Hershey's bar, and I shit you not, they make a Hershey's, they buy a big one and then cut it like into quarters and then wrap it in paper and glue the paper shut so it looks like a wrapper, and it's literally just a mini Hershey's bar you could buy at the supermarket, but like but they just like did it with a regular it's so fucking stupid. Like why just buy it. I gotta get the fuck out. All of their thumbnails are like this, by the way. All of them are like vaguely sexual with like the mouth, because that's how these thumbnails are highly effective. People will click on thumbnails like this that have like a woman's mouth like doing something. I'm not even kidding. If you put a face in your thumbnail, if you put a face in a thumbnail, people are much more likely to click on it. That's just a fact, which is very interesting. Hey Tony, are you ever gonna do anything Pokemon on this channel? Maybe someday. You know, people want me to do Pokemon stuff on this channel. Maybe someday I'll do something Pokemon related. Fuck, I forgot. We're reading Jeff the Killer. I gotta stay focused, but fuck me. Trim is ridiculous. It's insane. They're meant for children. Listen, they're meant for adults. You know? Adults can enjoy some jam phone cases too. God, where the fuck am I? Lou just thought of that as his brother beating up a few kids, but Jeff knew it was more. It was something scary. As he got that feeling, he felt how powerful it was, the urge to just hurt someone. He didn't like how it sounded, but he couldn't help feeling happy. He felt that strange feeling go away, and stay away for the entire day of school. Even as he walked home, due to the whole thing near the bus, and how now he probably wouldn't be taking the bus anymore, he felt happy. When he got home, his parents asked him how his day was, and he said in a somewhat ominous voice,
"It was a wonderful day."
Next morning, he heard a knock at his front door. He walked down to find 2 police officers at the door, his mother looking back at him with an angry look. "Jeff, these officers tell me that you attacked 3 kids, that it wasn't regular fighting, and that they were stabbed. Stabbed, son!" "Damn, son, where'd you find this?" Jeff's gaze fell to the floor, showing his mother that it was true.
"Mom, they were the ones who pulled the knives on me and Lou."
"Son," said one of the cops, "we found these 3 kids, 2 stabbed, 1 having a bruise on his stomach, and we have witnesses proving that you fled the scene. Now what does that tell us?" Jeff knew it was no use. He could say him and Lou had been attacked, but then there was no proof. It was not them who attacked first. They couldn't say they weren't fleeing, because truth be told, they were. So Jeff couldn't defend himself or Lou. "Son, Call down your brother. Jeff couldn't do it, since it was him who beat up all the kids.
Sir, it was me. I was the one who beat up the kids. Lou tried to hold me back, but he couldn't stop me.
The cops looked at his partner, and they both nod. Well, kid, looks like a year in juvie. Really? He stabbed 2 kids, broke one of their wrists, and then, like, made another one vomit by fucking punching him. That's 1 year? That's 1 year in juvie? I mean, I guess he is 13. Maybe they're going easy on him because he's 13, but that seems like at least 2 years. At least 2, maybe 3. I don't even know. Will you read the Nina Mercer one? Not like it's any good, neither is the art. Oh, is there like a comic version of this? All of these are Patreon requested, so you got to take that up with my Patreon patrons, because they're the ones who pay me to read these fan fictions. So if you ever have a request, you can always ask them. They're more than willing to talk it over, it seems. Do you think Lou is actually his brother, or is he just some adopted Asian kid? I don't know. His name is strangely different from Jeff, you know? He's Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat. That's amazing. This is ridiculous. Wait, says Lou. They all looked up to see him holding a knife. The officers pulled their guns and locked them on Lou. It's a child! You don't need to pull your gun out on a 13-year-old. It was me. I beat up those little punks. Have the marks to prove it. He lifted up his sleeves to reveal cuts and bruises, as if he was in a struggle. Son, just put the knife down, said the officer. Lou held up the knife and dropped it to the ground. He put his hands up and walked over to the cops.
No, Lou, it was me. I did it.
Jeff had tears running down his face. Huh. Poor bro. Trying to take the blame for what I did. Well, take me away. The police led Lou out to the patrol car.
Lou, tell them it was me. Tell them I was the one who beat up those kids.
Jeff's mother put her hands on his shoulders. Jeff, please, you don't have to lie. We know it's Lou. You can stop. Jeff watched helplessly as the cop car speeds off with Lou inside. A few minutes later, Jeff's dad pulled into the driveway, seeing Jeff's face and knowing something was wrong. Son? Son, what is it? Jeff couldn't answer. His vocal cords were strained from crying. Instead, Jeff's mother walked his father inside to break the bad news to him as Jeff wept in the driveway. After an hour or so, Jeff walked back into the house, seeing that his parents were both shocked, sad, and disappointed. He couldn't look at them. He couldn't see how they thought of Lou when it was his fault. He just went to sleep, trying to get the whole thing off his mind. 2 days went by with no words from Lou at JDC, no friends to hang out with, nothing but sadness and guilt. That is until Saturday, when Jeff was woken up by his mother with a happy, sunshiny face. Jeff, it's the day, she said as she opened up the curtains and let light flood into his room.
What? What's today?
Jeff asked as he stirs awake. Why, it's Billy's party. He was now fully awake.
Mom, you're joking, right? You don't expect me to go to some kid's party after...
There was a long pause. It's time to go to sleep, Joker. It's time to go to sleep, Joker. Make sure that you tuck yourself in, Joker. Tony, are you going to see Deadpool 2? I mean, I want to. If it's still in theaters by the end of next month, then I'll probably end up seeing it. But if it's gone by... I'm going to Vermont. Going back up to Vermont in about a month. So if it's out of the theaters, in June, then I'm fucked and I won't get to see it and I'll just have to, watch it later online. It's like that one scene from Terror Vision where the kid tries to call the police, but one of the officers got angry and tries to arrest him because he thinks it was a prank phone call. This is just very not believable. This is not how you don't just... Are you moving back? No, I'm not moving back. I'm going up to visit my sweetie who's still living there. So I'll be periodically bopping between here and Vermont. And then when I move to New York, I'll be bopping between Albany and Vermont. Because that's just how I do things. Let's see. Where am I? Jeff, we both know what happened. I think this party could be the thing that brightens up the past days. Now, get dressed. Jeff's mom walked out of the room and downstairs to get ready herself. He fought himself to get up. He picked a random shirt and a pair of jeans and walked downstairs. He saw his mother and father all dressed up, his mother in a dress and his father in a suit. He thought, why would they wear such fancy clothes to a kid's party? "Son, is that all you're going to wear?" said Jeff's mom. Better than
wearing too much,
he said. His mom pushed down the feeling to yell at him and hit it with a smile. "Now, Jeff, we may be overdressed, but this is how you go if you want to make an impression," said his father. Jeff grunted and went back to his room.
I don't have any fancy clothes,
he yelled downstairs. "Just pick out something," called his mom. He did, and you told him to pick something else. He looked around in his closet for what he would call fancy. He found a pair of black dress pants he had for special occasions and an undershirt. He couldn't find a shirt to go with it, though. He looked around and found only striped and patterned shirts, none of which go with the dress pants. Finally, he found a white hoodie and put it on. "You're wearing that?" they both said. His mom looked at her watch. "Oh, no time to change. Let's just go," she said as she herded Jeff and his father out the door. They crossed the street over to Barbara and Billy's house. They knocked on the door, and at it appeared that Barbara, just like his parents, way overdressed. As they walked inside, all Jeff could see were adults. No kids. "The kids are out in the yard, Jeff. How about you go and meet some of them?" said Barbara. Jeff walked outside to a full yard of kids. They were running around in weird cowboy costumes and shooting each other with plastic guns. He might as well be standing in a Toys R Us. Can't say that anymore because Toys R Us is fucking dead. Suddenly, a kid came up to him and handed him a toy gun and hat. "Hey, wanna play?" he said.
Ugh, no kid, I'm way too old for this stuff.
"Hey, listen here, you little shit. You're never too old to pretend to be a cowboy. Ever." You fucking loser. The kid looked at him with that weird puppy dog face. "Please?" said the kid. "Fine," said Jeff. He put on the hat and started to pretend to shoot at the kids. At first he thought it was totally ridiculous, but then he started to actually have fun. It might not have been super cool, but it was the first time he had done something that took his mind off Lou. So he played with the kids for a while. I'm glad that he's learning this is the true way to have a good time. Until he heard a noise, a weird rolling noise. Then it hit him. Randy, Troy, and Keith all jumped over the fence on their skateboards. Oh my god. These kids are too fucking radical. Jeff dropped the fake gun and ripped off the hat. Randy looked at Jeff with a burning hatred. "Oh, fuck. I don't have any fancy clothes," says Jake Bolt. "Hey, my boy with those tips. You are now the coolest boy." What the fuck? What the fuck is your profile picture? See, when you tip, it makes your face like huge in my little thing that lets me see the chat. What the fuck is that? Is your profile picture like a rat with like a turquoise hair? What the fuck? "Hey Tony, this is the first time I've caught a stream in a year." Well, that's amazing. I mean, I haven't been streaming very often just because I was you know, working on my senior year of college, but you know, hopefully you'll be able to catch more because I'll be streaming a lot more often. "Don't have any fancy clothes." Pulls out dress paints. Dress paints. Oh my god, king of the stream. "It's a bat, I think." Is it? It's a bat. It's a running joke that my signature looks like a Jake bat. Oh, I got you. That makes sense. It looks more like a bat now that I look at it, but it still kind of looks like a rat, you know what I'm saying? How about my profile picture? Yours is... It's a picture of it's like a cat's head poking out of a pair of jeans, right? It's really fucking small, I can't tell. As an aside, I fucking love pictures of animals where people just like put pants on them, right? And they're just like laying on the ground and they like look drunk, or they'll put like leggings on really fluffy dogs. So they look thick. I fucking love pictures of animals where they just like put people clothing on them like that. "Hello, Jeff, is it?" he said. "We have some unfinished business." Jeff saw his bruised nose. "I think we're even. I beat the crap out of you, and you get my brother sent to JD. Oh! Ah! Romina, what are you doing? Ah! Oh my god, now Romina gets to be the fucking best boy of the stream. See, I don't know if you realize, Jake, but Romina just called you out with their tip, because Romina's tip says 2 spoopy 5 me. You know, calling out your $5 tip with that $10 tip. That's just that's rude. But I like it. Thank you so much. I always appreciate when you guys tip me. Honestly, I really do. That's extra food. That's more beans. I can buy more beans. I can buy more bacon-flavored Spam, which is a thing that I actually buy pretty regularly. Let's see here. Randy got an angry look in his eyes. Oh no, I don't go for even. I go for winning. You may have kicked our asses that one day, but not today. Dude, you're in the middle of a fucking birthday party. As he said that, Randy rushed at Jeff. They both fell to the ground. Randy punched Jeff in the nose, and Jeff grabbed him by the ears and headbutted him. Jeff rushed Randy off of him, and both rose to their feet. Kids were screaming, and parents were running out of the house. Troy and Keith both pulled guns out of their pockets. No one interrupts, or guts will fly. Bro, you're like 12. Fucking calm down. Jesus Christ. Don't give money. Save your money for tendies. Money for tendies is always good. Wait until next stream, $100 just for you to... Jesus Christ, dude. I don't even... Are you even allowed to stream $100? That's a lot of money. Jesus. That's spooky. You're getting me anxious here, boy. You're getting me... You guys ever see that video where the guy... the guy yells at his dog's like taking a shit, you know, in the ocean, you know, and he goes, "Hey, boy, don't you go near that water, you're gonna get wet." And then the dog just shits in the fucking ocean. And he goes, "Oh, that's nasty, you're gonna get wet." Oh, I'm sorry, I just really fucking love that video. If I don't tell you guys about random shit I'm looking at, what am I really doing with my time? These fucking kids. These kids listen to, you know, Corella the Raven's Furry Song 2009. These kids really know some good quality music, you know? Let's see here. Where the fuck am I? Oh my god. Randy pulled out a knife on Jeff and stabbed it into his shoulder. Jeff screamed and fell to his knees. Really? No adults are going to hear him screaming from being stabbed? Randy started kicking him in the face. After 3 kicks, Jeff grabbed his boot and twists it, causing Randy to fall to the ground. Jeff stood up and walked towards the back door. Troy grabbed him. Need some help? He picks Jeff up by the back of the collar and throws him through the patio door. As Jeff... Nobody would fucking not hear that. Unless everybody is fucking deaf. As Jeff tries to stand, he is kicked to the ground. Randy repeatedly starts kicking Jeff until he starts to cough up blood. Come on, Jeff. Fight me. He picks up Jeff and throws him into the kitchen. Randy sees a bottle of vodka on the counter and smashes the glass over Jeff's head. Okay, first of all, Jeff would be unconscious by this point. Second of all, again, how the fuck... Now they're in the house. I know the adults are in that fucking house. How do they not hear it? That's fucking insane. You can't... Fight! He throws Jeff back into the living room. Come on, Jeff, look at me. Jeff glances up, his face riddled with blood. I was the one who got your brother sent to JDC, and now you're just gonna sit here and you're gonna let him rot in there for a whole year? You should be ashamed. Jeff starts to get up. Oh, finally you stand up and fight, you little bitch. Jeff is now to his feet, blood and vodka on his face. He's like 13. He's gonna get drunk. Once again, he gets that strange feeling, the one in which he hasn't felt for a while. Finally, he's up, says Randy as he runs at Jeff. Then when it happens, something inside Jeff snaps. His psyche is destroyed. All rational thinking is gone. All he can do is kill. He grabs Randy and pile drives into the ground. He gets on top of him and punches him straight in the heart. The punch causes Randy's heart to stop. For a second, I forgot we were reading a fucking creepypasta, because that's bullshit. As Randy gasps for breath, Jeff hammers down on him, punch after punch, blood gushing from Randy's body until he takes one final breath and dies. Jeff fucking punched him to death. Everyone is looking at Jeff now, the parents, the crying kids, even Troy and Keith. Gurk cakes, moi for you, Tony. Call me. All right, I'll give you a little bit of a smoochy poo. Give you a smoochy poo, Gur. Oh no. Gur doesn't get to be up top because Gur only gave 2, and I guess you got to give 5 to be up there. But that's okay, Gur. You'll stay. You know, you're still on the left side of the stream, so that's what matters. I'll give you a smoochy poo for that. That's beautiful. I love it. That's why I do this. I do this to make you guys happy, but the money helps, because then I can afford maybe one more. I can get another packet of Spam. I really fucking love Spam. How hard would you need to punch someone to kill them? Apparently not that hard. You know, because he just regular punched his heart and fucking made it stop. The only way that would work is if you were punching a kid who was like a literal giant, because kids who are really, really giant, people who are just giant, it's really hard. I keep missing Tony's streams while you're here at this one, bud, so be happy. Like, if the kid is really big, there was a kid who, in my 7th grade, he died. I will always be the best boy, says Jake. Well, I can't deny that. So you're going to be the best boy for a long time. If you guys don't know, I don't know if you guys are picking the colors. I think Google picks the colors when you put in a certain amount of money. But I do know the more money you give, the more time it puts you as best boy, which is fucking lit. I ain't going over 5, says Romina. That's okay, Romina. I understand. It's okay. I'll give you a smooch anyway. I'll give Jake a big smooch. Spew. I love you. What was I talking? Right, there was a kid in my 7th grade who died. He was his name was Kenny, and he was a huge kid. He was built like Michael Jordan, but he was in 7th grade, so his body was too big for his heart to supply enough like blood and to function. It couldn't work on that big of a body. And he was just playing basketball in his driveway, and he just fell. He just fell and died. So I mean, if a kid is like huge like that, I mean, I guess then you could punch him in the heart. And then, yeah, it was really sad. It was really interesting. Everybody was really sad. We still had to go to school, and we didn't have to do any classes actually. We you could sign a banner that like went to his parents. We went to like an assembly where his parents spoke and people spoke about him. There was like counseling for students, and then there was one room for people to play board games. Was it a heart? It was a heart attack. Well, I don't even think it was a heart attack. It was just heart failure. His heart just stopped. It just stopped working. You know, like he skipped straight past heart attack and just, you know, the stream is literally all over the place. I know, right? This is what happens when I have to read a really long fan fiction. I just fucking go off on stories. But there was one room where you could play board games if you didn't really know him, you know? And I didn't really know him, so I didn't really feel a connection with him, which, I mean, I was sad. A person died, so I was sad, but I wasn't like bawling my eyes out. There was this kid who literally didn't know Kenny even existed, and he was bawling his eyes out because a kid died. And then there was another kid who was a transfer student. Well, he wasn't a transfer student, but he just moved from Puerto Rico. So he didn't know anybody, and we just like played board games, and he was like, I didn't fucking know this kid. I mean, it's sad, but like I'm just gonna play some board games and have a good time. And I was like, yeah, dude, just fucking play some Sorry. And we played Sorry for like literal hours and like Uno, which was lit. I could tip you this time because my mom gave me money for my trip to my boyfriend's, and I already had leftover money from last trip. Hey, I hope your boyfriend enjoyed that trip. You know what I'm saying? Sex jokes. Just wait until June 1st. That's when the $100 is going to be sent to you. Oh, that's so sweet of you. I really appreciate that. That'll really make me feel good on my birthday. I don't know what I'm going to stream on my birthday, but I'm going to stream something. Maybe I'll stream Jackbox on my birthday, and we'll have a great time, guys. We'll have a great time I'll do a special birthday stream. I don't know what the fuck I'll do. Maybe I'll play some Vermintide, because I fucking love Vermintide so much. Wasn't there supposed to be a medicine people like that could take? Kenny? Like, medicine he could... Here's the thing. It was such a random thing. Like, he didn't have any previous health problems. You know, there was never any sort of... You know, there was never any sort of, like, hint that it was going to happen. You know? When someone dies, but you're in the middle of a lit game of Monopoly. Fuck, I gotta keep reading this reach. Oh my god, he dies. Everyone's looking at Jeff. The parents... Well, okay, so the parents did watch, and nobody fucking stopped him. The crying kids, even Troy and Keith, although they easily break from their gaze and point their guns at Jeff. They have... What? They have guns? I don't remember that. I don't remember them having guns. Jeff sees the guns trained on him and runs for the stairs. As he runs, Troy and Keith let out fire on him, each shot missing. They are literally 12-year-olds. Jeff runs up the stairs. He hears Troy and Keith follow up behind. As they let out their final rounds of bullets, Jeff ducks into the bathroom. He grabs the towel rack and rips it off the wall. Troy and Keith race in, knives ready. Troy swings his knife at Jeff, who backs away and bangs the towel rack into Troy's face. Troy goes down hard, and now all that's left is Keith. He is more agile than Troy, though, and ducks. I'm dying. And ducks when Jeff swings the towel rack. He drops the knife and grabs Jeff by the neck. He pushes him into the wall. A thing of bleach fell down on top of him from the top shelf. It burnt both of them, and they both started to scream. Jeff wiped his eyes as best as he could. He pulled back the towel rack and swung it straight into Keith's head. As he lay there, bleeding to death, he let out an ominous smile. "What's so funny?" asked Jeff. Keith pulled out a lighter and switched it on. "What's funny is that you're covered in bleach and alcohol." Jeff's eyes widened as Keith threw the lighter at him. They are fucking 12. They do not know. Most 12-year-olds don't know that you can light alcohol and bleach on fire. That's bullshit. As soon as the flame made contact with him, the flames ignited and the alcohol in the vodka. While the alcohol burned him, the bleach bleached his skin. Jeff let out a terrible screech as he caught on fire. He tried to roll out of the fire, but it was no use. The alcohol made him a walking inferno. He ran down the hall and fell down the stairs. Everybody started screaming as they saw Jeff, now a man on fire. He's still a child. Dropped to the ground, nearly dead. The last thing Jeff saw was his mother and the other parents trying to extinguish the flame. That's when he passed out. When Jeff woke up, he had a cast wrapped around his face. He couldn't see anything, but he felt a cast on his shoulder, and stitches all over his body. He tried to stand up, but he realized there was some tube in his arm, and when he tried to get up, it fell out, and a nurse rushed in. "I don't think you can get out of bed just yet," she said as she put him back in his bed and reinserted the tube. Jeff sat there with no vision, no idea of what his surroundings were. Finally, after hours, he heard his mother. "Honey, are you okay?" she asked. Jeff couldn't answer, though. His face was covered, and he was unable to speak. "Oh, honey, I have great news. After all the witnesses told the police that Randy confessed of trying to attack you, they decided to let Lou go." This made Jeff almost bolt up, stopping halfway, remembering the tube coming out of his arm. "He'll be out by tomorrow, and then you two will be able to be together again." Jeff's mother hugged Jeff and says her goodbyes. The next couple of weeks were those where Jeff was visited by his family. Then came the day where his bandages were to be removed. His family were all there to see it, what he would look like. As the doctors unwrapped the bandages from Jeff's face, everyone was on the edge of their seats. They waited until the last bandage, holding the cover over his face, was almost removed. "Let's hope for the best," said the doctor. That's not what a doctor would say. He'd probably say something like nothing at all. He'd probably just remove the bandages. He quickly pulls the cloth, letting the rest fall from Jeff's face. Jeff's mother screams at the sight of his face. Lou and Jeff's dad stare, awestruck, at his face. What happened to my face?" Jeff said. He rushed out of the bed and ran to the bathroom. He looked in the mirror and saw the cause of the distress. His face. It's horrible. His lips were burnt to a deep shade of red. His face was turned into a pure white color, and his hair singed from brown to black. He slowly put his hands to his face. It had a sort of leathery feel to it now. He looked back at his family, and then back at the mirror. "Jeff," said Lou, "it's not that bad."
"Not that bad,"
said Jeff.
"It's perfect."
His family were equally surprised. Jeff started laughing uncontrollably, and his parents noticed that his left eye and hand were twitching. Jeff, are you okay?"
"Okay. I've never felt more happy. Look at me. This face goes perfectly with me."
He couldn't stop laughing. He stroked his face, feeling it, looking at it in the mirror. "What caused this?" You told me it was because he was bleached and burnt by alcohol. Well, you may recall that when Jeff was fighting Randy, something in his mind, his sanity, snapped. Now he was left as a crazed killing machine. That is, his parents didn't know. "Doctor," said Jeff's mom, "is my son all right, in the head?" "Oh, yes, this behavior is typical for patients that have taken very large amount of painkillers. This behavior doesn't change in a few weeks. Bring him back and we'll give him a psychological test." "Oh, thank you, doctor." Jeff's mother went over to Jeff. "Jeff, sweetie, it's time to go." Jeff looks away from the mirror, his face still formed into a crazy smile.
"Hey, Mommy."
His mother took him by the shoulder and took him to his clothes. "This is what came in," said the lady at the desk. Jeff's mom looked down to see the black dress pants and white hoodie her son wore. Now they were clean of blood and stitched together. Those things would be fucking destroyed because they would have been burnt. Don't you fuck with me. Jeff's mother led him to the room and made him put his clothes on. Then they left, not knowing that this was their final day of life. Oh no, that's spooky. Oh fuck, we got Freezer Burn 21. Tipping $5 as well. Look at, we got 2 best boys up on the screen right now. Man, that $20 at Jake Bull, that you last for a long time with that 20. That's pretty cool. Oh, it's gone. Well, at least 2 boys got to be best boys for a short while, and that's beautiful. His parents see absolutely nothing wrong, right? Like, the parents like don't think anything is weird here. Hey Tony, how do you feel about dragons? I love dragons. I'm a big fan of dragons. I follow a subreddit called Adorable Dragons, which is just a subreddit dedicated to pictures of like really cutesy dragons. I think dragons are great. Tony, notice me. You've been noticed. Sega Man XL for extra large. Boy. Jesus Christ, foreshadowing. Alright, we only got a bit left, and then we're done. Later that night, Jeff's mom woke to a sound coming from the bathroom. It sounded as if someone was crying. She slowly walked over to see what it was. When she looked into the bathroom, she saw a horrendous sight. Jeff had taken a knife and carved a smile into his cheeks. "Jeff, what are you doing?" asked his mother. Jeff looked over to his mother.
I couldn't keep smiling, Mommy. It hurt after a while. Now I can smile forever.
Jeff's mother... No, there's no thing to end it. Jeff's mother noticed his eyes, ringed and black. Jeff, your eyes! His eyes were seemingly never closing.
I couldn't see my face. I got tired of my eyes starting to close, so I burned out the eyelids so I could forever see myself. My new face.
Jeff's mother slowly started to back away, seeing that her son was going insane.
What's wrong, Mommy? Aren't I beautiful?
Yes, son. Yes, you are. Let me go get Daddy so he can see your face. She ran into the room and shook Jeff's dad from his sleep. Honey, get the gun. And she stopped as she saw Jeff in the doorway holding a knife.
Mommy, you lied.
That's the last thing they hear as Jeff rushes them with a knife, gutting both of them. His brother Lou woke up, startled by some noise. He didn't hear anything else, so he just shut his eyes and tried to go back to sleep. As he was on the border of slumber, he got the strangest feeling that someone was watching him. He looked up before Jeff's hand covered his mouth. He slowly raised the knife, ready to plunge it into Lou. Lou thrashed here and there, trying to escape Jeff's grip.
Shh. Just go to sleep.
And that's it. That's it. That's Jeff the Killer, the classic creepypasta, which I've never read before, but it wasn't that great. Why is this... If you're wondering, that's a good question, Chugs. Why does this get so many fan fictions? It's entirely because of the image, which I did not show. It's at the top of the screen. I purposely didn't show it because I wanted to just read it without you guys having an image of what this character looks like if you've never seen him. But this picture is basically why this is so popular. If I had to wager, if I had to gander a goose, if I had to wager a gander... Honey, I'm going to sleep to your beautiful voice. I'm glad I can make you feel good, senpai. It was actually banned from the Creepypasta wiki. I'd believe that. You know, that makes sense just because it's such a, you know, like a big one, you know? It's this picture. It's literally just this picture that sells the whole thing. At least that's what I've always heard, you know? It's an iconic picture, you know? It's spooky. It's pretty creepy, you know? It sells the whole thing. It's really subpar. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Pastel. It's a really subpar creepypasta. It spends a lot of time just kind of building up a lot of boring shit that doesn't matter. And then it goes off the deep end like really quick. And then the creepy shit is just like all at the end. And it's just not very good. I don't know. It could have benefit from being cut down by about 50%. Honestly, if it was cut down by 50%, a lot of the random bullshit was just cut out. It's not even that it's random bullshit. It's just there's too much bullshit in it. It's not horrible, if I had to rate it, I give it like a 4 out of 5, slightly below average. You know, like I've seen worse creepypastas, like by far. You know, it didn't use anything like hyper realistic blood or anything. It's just a bit too edgy, but like not a good kind of edgy. You know, am I gonna read Jane the Killer? That's up to the patrons if I read Jane the Killer. But have I seen Animu style? I've seen many versions of Jeff. One of my favorite versions of Jeff the Killer is there's a lot of phone games like on the Android that are about Jeff the Killer, and like you'll just see him in like very poopy 3D. You know, it's not horrible. It's not horrible, but it's not great. It's not good. 4 out of 10, slightly below average. You have to understand that my scale for rating, if you guys are ever curious, I don't rate things like how like other people do it, where like 7 is average, because I think that's bullshit. I get that that's like a C, you know, like for like letter grades. For me, 5 is average. 6 is slightly above average. 4 is slightly below average. Okay, so 5 is average. That's okay. And everything else is 7 is like good. 8 is like great. 9 is like close to perfection. 10 is like as close to perfection as you could possibly get. This I'd give a 4. It's not as if my rating even fucking matters, but it's subpar. Pastel said it, it's very subpar. Sonic.exe. Oh my god. But yeah, Ben Drowned is innovative but cliche. See, Ben Drowned is a cliche creepypasta in many ways, but at the same time it's so innovative and legitimately kind of spooky, and the videos that are incorporated with it were super interesting, that I think it's deserving of being a classic, whereas this one is literally a classic for the picture alone, and I don't think it's deserving of it. Jesus Christ, 8.7 out of 10 for fucking 40,000 votes. Are you kidding me? Alright, whatever. Reading time, 15 minutes, and it took me like 51 minutes to read this fucking bullshit. Alright. I hope you guys had a great time. Thank all of you for watching this. I'm so happy to be streaming again. Thank you for all of you who tipped. I really appreciate it. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and I will see you on the next stream.